information. We all know that on November the 16th, we'll have two major elections. The end of tenure governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states. But recall also that in March, after we conducted the state assembly and governorship elections, we had issues of violence in Brass leading to the declaration of the election as inconclusive. We planned to conclude the elections 2 weeks later, but for protracted litigation over 6 polling units, the matter went up to the Supreme Court over 6 polling units, and finally the Supreme Court decided that INEC was right. We should go and conduct the elections in 6 polling units. So 7 months later, we are now combining the governorship election in Bayelsa State with Brass 1 state constituency in 6 polling units in Cape Formosa, RE. And we have already made arrangement for the election. In the case of Kogi West, it's a whole senatorial district that the Election Petition Tribunal and the appeal nullified the election conducted on the 23rd of February and ordered INEC to conduct a rerun election. By coincidence, the judgment of the Election Petition Appeal Tribunal came very close to the governorship election. So the commission decided to combine the governorship election with the Kogi West senatorial district election. Would have cost the nation well over 300 million naira. We have to get the ad hoc staff, make arrangement for transportation, accredit observers, political parties. There will also be cost on the part of the political parties and others. But because we are combining the election with the governorship election, it's going to cost the nation less than 10 million naira instead of over 300 million naira. So the commission decided to combine the two elections to save cost and for convenience. You will recall that 6 months ago, on the 9th of April, we made copies of the timetable and schedule of activities for the two elections, Kogi and Bayelsa, to all political parties in Nigeria. But following visitation by a team from Bayelsa, asking for a reconsideration of the date we chose for the election, which was November the 2nd, because it coincided with the Thanksgiving Day, supported by the law passed by the Bayelsa State House of Assembly. We then adjusted the schedule of activities for that reason, and then fixed November the 16th for the election. I reissued the amended timetable on the 16th of May, and again made copies available to all political parties. In that timetable, we itemized 14 activities, including the date for the implementation of each activity. So far, we have successfully implemented 10 out of the 14 activities, among them the conduct of party primaries and nomination of candidates by political parties. At the end of the process of nomination, primaries and nomination, 45 political parties nominated candidates for the Bayelsa governorship election, 42 male and 3 female candidates. While in Kogi, 23 political parties nominated candidates. Actually, we had more than 23, but 18 parties decided to withdraw from the election in Kogi and 1 in Bayelsa. So we have 23 candidates in Kogi, 21 male and 2 female candidates. We plan to have more engagements. On the 7th of November, the Inspector General of Police and I will be in Bayelsa to address the stakeholders. We'll repeat the same thing in Lokoja on the 11th of November. So 7th of November will be in Yenagoa, and 11th of November will be in Lokoja. Our objective is to speak early and loudly enough to all stakeholders on the necessity for peaceful conduct during campaign, election day activities, to collation of results, declaration of winners, and the aftermath. Electioneering campaigns have already commenced. The Commission once again appeals to political parties to speak to your candidates and supporters and to advise them against hate speech, inciting statements, physical attacks on opponents, destruction of each other's campaign materials, and other sundry violations of the Electoral Act. Of course, voter harassment, voter intimidation, including vote buying at polling units, constitute violations of the Electoral Act. Prohibition of the use of mobile phones by voters in the voting cubicles is still in force. We are going to deepen our collaboration with the EFCC and the ICPC in this respect. They will keep eyes on movement of cash during electioneering campaigns and on election day. On this note, I'm actually very happy to report that during the 2019 general election, alleged vote buyers were arrested across the country by the EFCC. Some have already been charged to court. The latest update I received indicates that the EFCC has secured the first conviction of a vote buyer in Gombe State.
And putting the interest of Nigeria above your personal interest. And going to Kogi and Bayelsa election, we must speak to ourselves that those who are going to be contesting the election in Bayelsa and Kogi must understand that whoever wins the elections must be an indigene of either Bayelsa or Kogi State. There will not be need for any other voice to be shut down in the process of trying to get into government. Because if you are going to govern the people, it is necessary that you get the right mandate from the people through the ballot box, and not through gun, not through intimidation, and not through voter, they call it oppression. So it is key that we continue to educate those who are in the rural area that their vote will count, and that their vote is their mandate for a credible and enriching democracy in our country. There's no democratic platform that refuses to encourage multi-party democracy, that closed the door to inclusivity, that shut the door to multiplicity of participation that has grown beyond the current status they found themselves.